Hi, my name is Tom Bonner, Senior Director of Adversarial Machine Learning, and welcome once again to HiddenLayer's Black Hat Virtual Booth. Here at HiddenLayer, we're on a mission to safeguard machine learning models from threats and attacks. And as part of this quest, we're trying to inform organizations about the risks facing their AI and ML solutions today. If you haven't already checked out part one of our series, Sleeping with One AI Open, please make sure to do so as we introduce topics that you may not yet be familiar with. In this demo, we're going to briefly touch on machine learning defenses and explore ways in which you can safeguard your precious ML assets. In our last presentation, we introduced three different forms of attack on machine learning models from a high-level perspective: fooling a model into making a wrong prediction, altering a model to make it biased, inaccurate, or even malicious, and replication of a model, essentially model theft. While these describe what is done to the model during an ML attack, what, if anything, could be the potential fallout or consequence? Well, the answer depends largely on the placement of the model. For example, if the neural network that keeps your car in lane malfunctions, the danger could be injury or something far worse. With suggestion and recommendation algorithms, the radicalization of a user base with particular offensive content, and with models that forecast stock trade, it could be the loss of millions of dollars. And what happens if you expose your model that bit too much, leading it to get stolen and your company losing its market advantage? To help us to better understand the phases of an attack on an ML production system, we've created the ML Adversary lifecycle, somewhat akin to the Lockheed Martin cyber kill chain and inspired by MITRE Atlas. We've broken down the lifecycle into various stages, which align with the MITRE Atlas matrix for adversarial ML attacks. These are reconnaissance, initial compromise, persistence, discovery, collection, staging, exfiltration, and impact. Each section or stage has several focal points that an attacker may target or leverage. Not just that, but to take these attacks and identify at which stage in the production and deployment of ML models they relate to, we look to the MLDEVOPS lifecycle. This helps us to identify the potential pitfalls that can lead to security risks and vulnerabilities. By identifying or boxing off the different stages, we can create risk assessments, security auditing, and compliance testing for all sorts of ML and AI projects, no matter the application. So what's the solution? It starts with understanding your enemy. As Sun Tzu most succinctly describes in The Art of War, if you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. With that, we find it pertinent to ask a few questions at the start of any ML project. Who are your adversaries and what might their goals be? Could an adversary discover your training data or model? How might an attacker benefit from attacking your model? What might an attack look like in real life? And what might an attack's impact and potential legal ramifications be? By having well-defined questions and answers, you can begin to understand what kind of defenses you need to put into place. If you employ ML as part of your critical business functions, you should be able to answer this. But of course, it's not all down to the adversary. Sometimes the biggest threat can come from the inside, and often by sheer mistake. When it comes to your ML deployment, which stakeholders require access to information such as training sets, feature sets, documentation, and source code? Do you have role-based access controls in place? How is your training data sourced? And is your training data securely stored? In order to protect against adversarial attack, one of the most important things is to educate yourself on the potential avenues of adversarial attacks on your systems. Ensure that you keep your stakeholders and decision makers informed and educated, and lead with security practices rather than implement them retroactively. Follow ML hygiene and don't download pre-trained models to production environments. Always use a sandbox. Oversharing can be the difference between an adversary knowing what type of model you employ in the back end or not, letting them stage a gray or even white box attack. And lastly, help us help you. At HiddenLayer, we're not only spreading the word about ML security, we're also in the process of developing the first machine learning detection and response solution. Don't hesitate to reach out if you wish to book a demo, collaborate, discuss, brainstorm, or simply connect. After all, we're stronger together. Before we leave you, we want to impart some best practices that can be employed in order to reduce the likelihood of an adversarial attack, even going as far to alert the appropriate teams if an attack is detected. In the case of training time and data poisoning attacks, role-based access controls are helpful to ensure only the appropriate people have access to sensitive information and training data. Evaluation of data sources to ensure they haven't been poisoned. Integrity checks to ensure data has not been corrupted or tampered with. data hashing to verify the contents of training and test sets, and model robustness tools such as IBM's Adversarial Robustness Toolkit and Microsoft's Counterfeits are all a very good start. With decision time attacks, there are defenses such as gradient masking to slow down attackers, making adversarial examples, and model distillation to increase the robustness of a model, and our very own machine learning detection and response, enabling you to detect and respond to attacks in real time as they occur against your systems. With the dissemination of pre-trained models, model signing and trusted source verification can be employed to remove the likelihood of loading a hijacked model. That brings us to a close on part 2 and the final part of our virtual booth series. Thank you for watching, and we really hope you enjoy the rest of the conference. Please stay tuned for future research and announcements at our website, hiddenlayer.com, and be sure to follow HiddenLayer on LinkedIn and Twitter.